Where tonight inside U.S. Bank Stadium, college basketball is being played for the first time ever. Not long ago, the Minnesota Vikings were here and they beat the Green Bay Packers, but now we shift from end zone to the hardwood. BTN basketball tonight from U.S. Bank Stadium. Intriguing matchup, the Big Ten against the Big 12, as the 5-1 Minnesota Golden Gophers take on the 4-2 Cowboys from Oklahoma State. Good evening, everybody. Alongside Sean Morris, I'm Corey Probe as we take a look at the starting lineups. First for the Cowboys, Mike Boynton, the head coach, calls the backbone of his team the three juniors, DeZagua, Waters, and McGriff. As for Minnesota, no changes for the starting five. Gabe Kalsher, the reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week, who has played awfully well this season. Our marquee matchup, though, Sean, we focus on a couple of guys in the low post.
Cameron McGriff, the leading scorer and rebounder for the Cowboys, coming off an outstanding performance last time out versus LSU with 28 points in that winning effort. George Murphy averaging a double-double, 6 games so far for the senior from San Antonio. 5 of those have resulted in a double-double performance.
7th ever meeting between these two programs. Last met Pentagon and Sioux Falls. We were there for that, December 2015.
That was a highlight for you, wasn't it?
It was a great night.
Cowboys won by 2. Didn't they always?
Yeah. Opening tap is controlled by the Gophers. Underway at U.S. Bank Stadium. McGrair struggling with the shot right now. Let's talk more about that as we move along here tonight. Jordan Murphy doesn't see a double team yet. Shot clock under 10 for the freshman Oturu. And this will go the other way as a foul will be called on the Gophers. That's on Oturu. And we want to welcome all of you who saw Wisconsin win its Big Ten opener, knocking off the Iowa Hawkeyes. Welcome to downtown Minneapolis, inside U.S. Bank Stadium, alongside Sean Morris. I'm Corey Probe. Welcome to this special night here in the Twin Cities. Minnesota and Oklahoma State just underway here at U.S. Bank Stadium.
And Corey, I expect the two freshmen big men for the respective squads, Ane and Oturu, to have a big impact, oversized impact in the early part of this ball game. Teams trying to get acclimated to the shooting background, go inside, get things going. They do right there.
Nice pass quickly. Oturu beating Murphy. And the Gophers have the game's first points.
Oturu and Ane, really impactful shot blockers as well.
A rare miss and a rare air ball for DeZagua. Outstanding three-point shooter. Kalsher, speaking of good three-point shooters, that one doesn't go.
You can live with that shot if you're Minnesota, and a nice find by Coffey in the open floor.
Freshman Isaac likely playing well for Oklahoma State. Can't hit. And back come the Gophers the other way. It's Coffey feeding McGrair. He'll shoot that from time to time. Murphy for 3. Just a 29% three-point shooter. Doesn't do that too often, but not afraid to step out and take his shot from time to time. Oklahoma State 4-2, coming off a great win in Orlando against the ranked team at LSU. And the reason why they won that game, the guy who missed that shot, Grip played well. Ane, the offensive rebound. A whistle inside, and this will go the other way. Offensive foul. As Oturu takes the charge.
Nice pass here by Oturu to find his fellow frontline pair, Murphy, and then Murphy showing you some versatility, Corey, the ability to step out and knock down the three. That's not necessarily his game. Only 29% from behind the arc prior to that offer.
That was on Griff, the junior from Grand Prairie, Texas, is first. So Murphy with the game's first 5 points. He stays that way. And now Likely. 9 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists in the win against LSU back on Sunday.
And a very vocal leader, even though he is just a true freshman for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Oturu picked up 1 foul already, knocks it free. Ane is fouled, and let's see if this is on Oturu. If so, that's going to be 2 early fouls on the freshman. And it's going to be on Kalsher. Richard Pitino, 36 years old, reaching 100 wins with the Gophers. Minnesota coming off its first loss in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. against Boston College back on Monday night. And a rough game in just about every way, especially from the three-point line. Just 5 of 30 in that loss to the Eagles earlier in the week.
And they also had an unusual lapse on the defensive end of the floor, especially in the second 20 minutes, allowing the homestanding Eagles of BC to shoot 54%. And a lot of those misses that you mentioned, Corey, 5 of 30 from behind the arc for the Gophers, they had a lot of good, clean shots at the rim, just not able to knock them down. And you mentioned Breyer struggling over the last 3 ball games. In that period of time, 1 of 18 from behind the arc.
Two open lane, and a blocking foul called on Ane. 6'10" freshman from Overland Park, Kansas. Some freshman challenging freshman, and Ane picks up a personal foul.
That would have been a big call to go against Oturu. You mentioned it already, 1 foul for Oturu. He can impact the game, show the ability to pass the ball a little bit earlier. Remember, he's been in foul trouble a little bit. We saw him up in Vancouver, got in foul trouble up there as well. So that's a big call to go in favor of the Gophers there.
Freshman too, Ane also battling that part of his game too, picking up some early fouls. And getting back to the defense that Minnesota faced on Monday, just 5 of 30 from beyond the arc. Saw some zone in that game, as they did against Washington. Do you think Oklahoma State will throw some zone to the Gophers tonight?
I think you'll see maybe 30% of the possessions, but if you're watching Oklahoma State, especially on the defensive end of the floor, you will see kind of a carbon copy of what Big Ten fans usually see with Illinois, because Mike Boynton, was on the staff with Brad Underwood before he went over to the University of Illinois, so they really emphasized the defensive end of the floor.
Low pass could not be corralled by Ane, and an Oklahoma State turnover.
Turnovers were an issue for them versus LSU. 18 miscues for the Cowboys in that ball game.
And now Oturu loses it, so back and forth we go. Likely slow things down. Griff looking inside. It's Ane at the elbow. Nice touch there from Ane. Averaging 6 points per game defensively, blocking about 3 shots per game.
And he's not known for stepping out. He'll shoot 71% from the floor, but that's a nice mid-range look. Good impression so far for the big fella.
Oturu lowers the shoulder, blocked by Ane on cue, got it back and blocked again. And now Dzagwa on the push. Numbers for the Cowboys. Waters for 3, and the Cowboys take their first lead.
Nice look ahead by Dzagwa, and a really good job, Corey, by Waters of getting his feet set while the pass was in the air to him. You saw him get his feet situated. Nice conversion.
Pass tip. Kalsher collected anyway. The miss. Oturu offensive putback, no. Ane the rebound. And here come the Cowboys, and Likely against McBrayer, freshman against senior, and the Cowboys lead by 4. And Richard Pitino wants to talk things over. Timeout, Minnesota, a 9-0 Cowboy run.
Really strong finish in transition for the Cowboys. Good job of getting your shoulder in. The Cowboys on a 9-0 run here in Minneapolis.
15:23 to play, opening half, and Oklahoma State leading the Gophers 9-5. We go from end zone to the basketball floor, west end zone to east end zone basketball for the first time ever here at US Bank Stadium. We're glad you're with us, everybody. Alongside Sean Morris, I'm Corey Probus, and the Final Four, of course, will be here come early April, and that was on the minds of both players and coaches we spoke with today.
Just a really cool atmosphere for these young men. You can see a little bit of the jitters as they get used to the shooting background here, but a nice job by Oklahoma State of kind of setting the tone defensively. This is a team that hangs their hat, Corey, on the defensive end of the floor, is witnessed by the fact prior to this ball game, teams came in shooting only 39% from the floor against the Cowboys. They showed a little bit of zone. We talked about that. You brought it up a little bit earlier. I would expect this to see on any kind of inbound situation, dead ball situation. So about 30% of the time you may see a zone defense and a great closeout there.
That was blocked by Michael Weathers, redshirt sophomore, transferred from Miami, Ohio, on the Kalsher three-point try. Oturu out for Minnesota as Mott Stockman checks in for the first time tonight. A 9-0 Cowboy run. McGriff makes it 11-0.
And McGriff, we mentioned his 28 points a little bit earlier. Very efficient in doing so versus LSU in that game down in Orlando. 10 of 15 from the floor.
Averaging 17 points per game this season as the Cowboys stick with the zone.
With Oturu going out of the ballgame, it also allows Coach Mike Boynton to go into his bench and get another big guy in there Contravious Jones in there manning the middle.
And traveling violation called on McBrayer. We mentioned that Richard Pitino, 36 years old, as is Mike Boynton. His second season was an assistant under Brad Underwood, like you mentioned, Sean, and he's done a good job. 7-6 against ranked teams.
And last year, Corey swept Kansas, who went on to the Final Four. And you know, they thought that maybe their non-conference schedule kept them in on the NCAA tournament a year ago. But they're not going to have that problem this year. They have played already. They have played Villanova. They're playing this game here tonight. They play Nebraska in another neutral site game in Sioux Falls. So non-conference schedule very difficult for the Cowboys. Travius
Jones the miss, the freshman from Macon, ball knocked out, and it's going to be Minnesota basketball down 11-5. Now the Cowboys tonight are wearing turquoise uniforms, and they're doing so for Native American Heritage Month, something that means a lot to the community, but certainly to Lindy Waters. It's part Cherokee, part Kiowa. We'll talk more about that. In fact, Waters was named the Indian of the Year by the American Indian Exposition. That's quite the honor. Turquoise jerseys here tonight. In transition off their turnover, and the Cowboys are flying up and down the floor.
And just a poor pass to start that possession. Just a lazy pass, and allowed Oklahoma State to jump that passing angle. Good conversion in the open floor.
Isaiah Washington for three. And that's a welcome sign from Washington. That's been a struggle for a sophomore this season.
To say the least, he came in shooting 11% from beyond the hard part of that.
Stops a 13-0 Oklahoma State run. Shot clock at 8. McGriff up top for three. Cowboys having no trouble with the dimensions here in the shooting so far tonight.
Corey, you cannot go under that dribble handoff if you're playing against McGriff. He's 36% from behind the arc.
Washington's floater too strong. McGriff position. Murphy got it back and fouled. That looked to be McGriff's ball, but then Murphy got it back, and he'll shoot 2 free throws.
Oklahoma State is setting the tone on the defensive end of the floor. A big reason that they were able to go on that 9-0 run, which forced Minnesota to burn a timeout. And that open floor opportunity came as a result of a poor reversal pass by Isaiah Washington. Needed to take another dribble. Very easy pickoff and conversion on the other end.
Subs for Oklahoma State as Waters and Likely depart. Mentioned that Lindy Waters, part Cherokee, part Kiowa. A gesture by the Cowboys and the entire team of the program to honor his heritage tonight. Murphy knocks down a pair. Morgan DeMuth, freshman from Seminole, Florida, with the ball right now. Shot clock under 10. DeMuth with three. Desagua got it off, and his second air ball tonight. How about that?
Really good job forcing that difficult shot by Desagua, because they were doing a really good job of closing out under control and forced that desperation heave. The Cowboys never able to get inside the three-point arc.
Yeah, we spoke today, Sean, during the shoot-around. You thought that shooting the ball tonight, the depth perception would be a challenge, could be a challenge. That impacting Desagua so far tonight?
I think the first one did. That one was just a desperation heave. And, you know, for folks that haven't necessarily followed Oklahoma State, Desagua's a guy that knocks down 60% of his offerings from behind the arc.
6 Minnesota turnovers already, and the Cowboys lead by 6 on BTN. Men's basketball on BTN is brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Shot of downtown Minneapolis inside U.S. Bank Stadium. Minnesota and Oklahoma State. Cowboys up by 6. It's been a wonderful career and just getting better in his senior season now for the All-Big Ten performer Jordan Murphy.
And with one more final double-double for Jordan Murphy, he will tie Jim Brewer with 51 in that category for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And I can tie it into Oklahoma State. Jim Brewer was a member of the 1972 Olympic team, which lost that controversial game to the Soviet Union in Munich, coached by Henry Iba, who was the coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys and won 2 national championships when they were Oklahoma A&M with Bob Curlin, one of the first great big men in college basketball history.
Wow. Wow. That was an impressive connection.
Now, if only I had any useful knowledge in my head.
And Jordan Murphy up to 987. So 7 points and 4 rebounds for Murphy here tonight. Murphy, there's the double team.
Yep. They were working on that in the shoot-around, Corey, and not utilizing it all the time, but mixing it up and coming from different angles.
Murphy lost his feet. Another Minnesota turnover. The Cowboys, now Cunningham slows things down.
Cunningham's a grad transfer from USC upstate. Weathers a transfer from Miami of Ohio, where he was the MAC freshman of the year a couple seasons ago.
Pass deflected, last touch by the Gophers, and they stay with Weathers and the Cowboys as Oturu checks back in. And Stockman will sit. Michael Hurt also in for the Gophers as Amir Coffey grab a seat.
Get over.
Elevated floor here at US Bank Stadium. Nothing unusual. Gophers have that at the barn. Down the street from here. Shot clock did not reset. Cunningham from the wing. Oklahoma State 3 of 5 from beyond the arc so far tonight.
Cunningham 50% from deep on the year, shot that confidently.
Murphy and one. He saw just a small crease and did not hesitate. And Murphy's having a big game early tonight.
A rare defensive lapse by the Cowboys so far. You have to close out under control and move your feet. Just a breakdown in communication. You need to take that away. If you're going to come out on Murphy, even though he's hit a 3, Corey, you want to gap him because he has shown the ability to get to the rim with either hand off the dribble. You must make him shoot over the top, come out under control, and gap him.
As McGriff returns for Oklahoma State, Murphy has 9 of the 12 Minnesota points. Isaiah Washington, the other 3 tonight. So Murphy completes the 3-point play, and it's once again a 6-point game. These two teams will meet next season as well. They'll do so in Tulsa.
Nice help there by Oturu until Washington was able to come up over the top of that screen.
Hurt right in the face of Desagua. Challenge 3 up top. Too strong, and now numbers for Minnesota.
Nice job by Hurt defensively.
Washington, the reverse. Pretty.
Not a jelly roll, maybe a Danish.
And what's the call? Traveling violation. That one caused by Murphy's defensive presence, the 3rd Cowboy turnover.
Good defensive sequence leads to this opportunity in the open floor, and a nice job by Washington. Good hesitation dribble, and then using the rim to shield him from the shot blocker. And a nice job by the Golden Gophers of going from defense to offense. Good conversion in the open floor by Washington.
Now, chatting with Richard Pitino today at Shoot-Around about this game tonight, and oftentimes when he asks who has to play big, no call, or 2 with a tip and miss, and Murphy trying to get it back, and does against 2 defenders. It'll count, and 1. But just to finish up that thought, Richard Pitino told us today he thought Isaiah Washington would be a key player tonight with the dribble and some early offense tonight. But Murphy, speaking of offense, that's the story so far.
Watch the strength from the elbows up. A lot of times people think that it's bench press strength which makes the difference. Here, you have to be strong in the game of basketball, Corey, from the elbows up, and Murphy showed you why there. The ability to get both hands on the ball and rip through and finish, very impressive.
Foul on McGriff. He has 2. It's an 8-0 Gopher run. Likely bounces to a knee, and it goes off the glass.
That's a difficult conversion by Nick, because he had to reload on the way down. Nice pass.
Oturu over an A.
Nice entry feed by Murphy up top, and if you're going to guard Murphy out there, you close out under control, but you still need your hands up to take away that passing angle in the high-low game.
I got you.
Likely along the baseline. Here's the Ney, blocked and fouled by Oturu. That's going to be his second.
Nice high-low play between the senior Murphy and the freshman Oturu. It's our State Farm assist of the game, and like a good neighbor, Corey, that pass was there.
Well done. And they hit the line. That one rattles out. Jarvis Mercer, athletic freshman, comes in and two fouls. That's it. Foul trouble is certainly a part of the story for Minnesota in its last game. Not so much Oturu, it was Murphy. Foul trouble that limited his minutes.
He was kind of held in check a long period of time, especially in that first half.
Gabe Kalsher was in foul trouble in that game as well. Empty trip for Oklahoma State. Murphy lowers the shoulder and tried to hammer it home and missed. And now the Cowboys counter. Likely against Omersa foul.
And Omersa was in pretty good position, Corey, until he broke verticality, because he has the size advantage. Last time down the floor offensively, Murphy gets his shoulder into the shot blocker. Ane just not able to convert it. Then on the other end, Mercer did a pretty good job of rotating over and would have been in a good situation for a no call until he broke verticality and brought his hands down.
Likely a late sign with Oklahoma State. Freshman from Arlington, Texas.
I mean, he, last time out versus LSU, 9 points, 9 rebounds from the guard position, 8 assists. Even more impressive than that, only 1 turnover.
Washington will push off the missed free throw, too strong. And now here come the Cowboys, 3-on-2. Likely against Hurt, contact and a blocking foul called on the junior from Rochester, Minnesota.
And I really like what Likely did there, Corey. In the open floor, you understand that the defender, in this case, Michael Hurt, is backpedaling. Now watch, he attacks that inside foot, freezes the defender, then the crossover. Really impressive open floor. He attacked the inside foot. Hurt still moving, hadn't had the opportunity to square up. Don't settle when you can make somebody backpedal and then try to get to the rim.
Murphy comes out. Stockman back in, Kalsher back in, Gophers as well. Washington comes out. Waters for 3. Waters has made 2 threes, and the Cowboys lead by 5.
And if you are Minnesota defensively, you must locate him. Both of his threes have been of the standstill variety. Make him show you that he can knock down the 3 off the dribble.
Cowboys had a good night shooting the ball from beyond the arc in the win against LSU. Stockton off the heel, no. Waters the rebound. Maurice Kalu walked. Freshman from Canada into the ball game, turns it over, and with that, we take a break.
Lindy Waters getting it done, picking up where he left off. A couple of triples for the Cowboys here in Minnesota.
Now back on Sunday night, the Vikings beat the Packers here at US Bank Stadium, and then not long after that, work began to get this place ready for basketball. And this beautiful 3-row facility has hosted concerts, the X Games, even baseball, but never basketball before this here tonight and this weekend. And see, the floor came from Sioux Falls, the Premier Center, which hosted the Division II title last year. And here we are at US Bank Stadium, all set for this dry run for the Final Four come April. Fourth time that there has been a Final Four in this city.
Again, that zone defense. Oklahoma State staying with it. And look at the communications. They talk Kalsher, the outstanding three-point shooting freshman, through the zone. They are aware of his location at all times.
Stockman's pass knocked away, and last touch by the Gophers. It'll go back to the Cowboys. You are watching Tip-Off Week presented by U.S. Cellular. Don't miss any of the action through December 6th right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Conference play underway tonight. That'll continue throughout the weekend and into early next week. Gophers open up Big Ten play Sunday at Ohio State. Waters. No. Rebound knocked out. Last touch by Oklahoma State.
You mentioned conference play beginning here in the end of November, beginning of December. That's part of the expanded conference slate going from 18 to 20 games.
Last year, conference play began early. That was more due to the date of the Big Ten tournament moved up a week. New York City.
Oklahoma State staying with this 2-3 zone. It's paid dividends.
Mike Boyd told us today he thought maybe 85% man. We've seen that so far tonight. Coffee. It's a miss. Murphy keeps it in play.
Nice job by Murphy getting his hip in there. That allowed the Karam to come to him. Really good job.
Murphy blocked by Nay and a foul.
So much of rebounding. Everyone talks about the ability to leap and things like that, but Murphy does his work while the ball was in the air, and as a result, he's able to get it on the reset. 2-foot jump stop, go up and force the contact from the freshman Nene, but it started with Jordan Murphy understanding that a shot from one side of the rim almost 95% of the time is going to carry him the other way, and he put his hip into a nade that did not allow him to use his length to grab the rebound.
Murphy now 5 of 5 at the free throw line tonight. As DeZagua returns, DeMuth will sit. So Nene comes out. Weathers back on the floor. There's his first miss tonight. Oklahoma State shooting 50% from the field, including 4 of 7 from 3. Weathers off the screen, blocked by Stockman. Tipped out into the hands of Kalsher. And now Coffee works around DeZagua, and the finger roll falls.
And Minnesota returns the favor in terms of utilizing their defense to create an offensive breakout opportunity. Started with the block by Stockman and the finish on the other end by Coffee.
And now a foul called on Weathers.
Nice recovery and a fortuitous bounce by the Gophers, and then the look ahead by Kalsher and a good Euro step by Coffee. A difficult conversion, and watch where his eyes were the whole time, Corey. Not only when he caught the ball, but as he's trying to convert a very difficult shot, his eyes never left the target. Nice conversion in the open floor by the Minnesota native.
So Kalsher connects the front end of the 1-and-1. We just saw Amir Coffee a moment ago, as McGriff's going to come back in with 2 fouls for Oklahoma State. Richard Pitino telling us today that with Amir Coffee needs more on the offensive end. Just can't be a guy that's going to shoot 2 or 3 shots a game. Not with his skill set.
He's so dangerous in the open floor, and you know, his confidence has struggled a little bit in terms of shooting from the perimeter the last couple times we've seen him.
Another big block from Stockman.
But he blocked it out of bounds. That's not a foul call. You saw the official point to the end line. That block, once it left Stockman's hand, nice job of coming over by Stockman, and then the block lands out of bounds. And since Stockman was the last player to touch it in play, it'll stay with the Cowboys on this end, but it does not reset the shot clock. Under 20 right now for Oklahoma State.
All tied at 25.
Good defense by Kalsher. Good defense. Really good job by the freshman.
Off the miss, Stockman the rebound, Coffee the push. This for the lead. Amir Coffee, no, the tip goes. And the Gophers lead by 2.
And a nice job by Coffee of staying with it. The shooter always knows where it's going before anyone else. He knows it went a little bit to the left, and he's able to recover and go up and tip it in with a strong hand.
A 7-0 Golden Gopher run. 5:30 to go until halftime. Stockman challenge blocked, and the Gophers have the ball again.
How about the impact of Stockman on the defensive end of the floor off the bench for Minnesota?
Into the corner, McBrayer for 3. And Murphy Murphy whistled for a foul. That'll be number 1 on Murphy. 14.7 rebounds for Jordan.
Nice job by Gabe Kalsher of forcing a difficult shot. Stockman comes in and cleans up the mess, and that leads to a breakout opportunity in the open floor. The second such for Amir Coffey, but it started with the outstanding defense by Kalsher of moving his feet, and more importantly, as the ball handler tried to get into him, showing his hands so he couldn't bail him out with a hand check foul.
Did you think that Kalsher would have the impact that he's had so far through 6 games?
I did not. I knew he was a very good player. The thing that impresses me the most, other than his three-point stroke, his demeanor never changes. I mean, he is a cool customer.
Nice pass, but Griff bobbled, got it back, and missed the second time. He set up nicely for a shot near the rim. And now McBrayer with the left hand. That's his power hand. And the Gophers stretch the lead to 4. Timeout, Oklahoma State.
And even though he is yet to score, Mats Stockman has been the impetus for this run by Minnesota.
Now let's take a look at this message from ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire and the official hiring partner of the Big Ten Conference.
Are hiring delays causing work to pile up? That's not smart. Then there's smart. ZipRecruiter finds people with the right skills, education, and experience for your job and actively invites them to apply, so you get qualified candidates fast. That's why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. ZipRecruiter, the official hiring partner of the Big Ten Conference. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Big10.
See Gabe Kalsher, 2 points so far tonight. 2 from 3 thus far, but Kalsher, reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week, and this play, big reason why. The game-winning shot in Vancouver against Washington. And the Gophers beat the Huskies by 1 in a thrilling game. And what a way to wrap up that fun tournament that we saw last week. Now back come the Cowboys. There's Nzagwa. About 60% three-point shooter.
Yeah, and how about the response after his first 2 shots were way off the mark, to say the least.
What a pass! Stockman to McBrayer. Stockman, 3 blocks, 2 assists in 9 minutes. Waters and the Cowboys, they are connecting from beyond the arc now, 6 of 9 from 3.
Corey, you have to find Waters and make him prove to you that he can knock down that 3 off the dribble, because 3 times so far here in the first half, he has made the Golden Gophers pay with the standstill.
So 3-point shooting. Waters now with 9 points. Murphy had it knocked away. Here comes Cunningham. Against McBrayer, tough angle, but it rolls in. Nice response here from the Cowboys.
He might be a graduate student in geometry. That was a tough angle.
6'1", 180. Appearing in his 4th game of the season, dealt with a hamstring injury earlier in the year. Gophers had momentum, but the Cowboys have taken that right back on their side. Murphy draws a double team, and Stockman unable to hang on. Getting ready for that pass. Was also thrown long. The 9th Minnesota turn. Griff.
Stockman is just getting it done defensively.
Shot clock at 5. Nzagwa from the wing. Another miss. And a shot clock violation will give the ball back to Minnesota.
Corey, you always want to score more points than the other team, but you can impact the game without scoring a basket. Mats Stockman, a great example, not only on the defensive end, but setting up his teammates with the backcourt cut. As a result, Minnesota climbing back in.
Here on BTN. Vikings playing great football here. Vikings on the road this week. Tough game coming up at New England on Sunday. 2-point game. Final 2:30 the first half. In the inaugural U.S. Bank Stadium Basketball Classic. This is the second game tonight. Earlier, St. Thomas beat Wisconsin, River Falls, and 2 more games coming up tomorrow. North Dakota State against Drake, and South Dakota State taking on Northern Iowa.
I tell you what, Matt Stockman has been the story here in the first half, doing a really good job against that zone defense, getting in the gut and looking weak side for yet another assist for the big man.
3 assists, 3 blocks, no points in 11 minutes for Stockman. Coffee, good D. Forced a tough shot. Now the fadeaway from Waters, another air ball, 2 to shoot, and the Cowboys don't get it off in time. Another shot clock violation.
It started with the outstanding closeout and utilizing his size by Amir Coffey on the far side. Forced a complete miss, and then Oklahoma State forced into another shot clock situation where they had to hoist one up under duress. Look where they close out on Kalsher.
Kalsher this time will drive, create, it'll count, and 1.
And very efficient with the dribble in this situation, Corey, is the freshman. Now watch, no wasted dribble. One step, get through there, and complete. A lot of guys would take an extra dribble. That would allow for a potential scrape to come down there or slide over. But Kalsher had the dribble out in front of him. That led him right to the rim with momentum.
Kalsher, local kid, won 3 state titles at nearby De La Salle High School, not far from where we reside tonight. A foul inside. And that's going to be on Kalsher. That's number 2. So 17th foul. This will be a 1-and-1 for Lindy Waters. A perfect 21 for 21 at the free throw line this year. Which means, it always works that way. It always works that way.
You got that kind of juice, Corey.
Send all hate mail to Sean Morris and don't bring up stats.com.
Nice job. You mentioned that Coach Pitino talked about the need for Amir Coffey to maybe be a little bit more assertive offensively. That's why.
How about that quick trigger from DeZagua?
He's not shy. That's for sure.
Washington, he's had a good first half, and that continues. Isaiah Washington, he needed an offensive game like this, didn't he? Knocked out of bounds, and a foul's going to be called on Oklahoma State. And it's going to be on Jones, the freshman from Georgia, with his 3rd. State Farm halftime report coming up. Pizzo and Jess Settle standing by for that from our BTN studios in Chicago.
Deion Thomas also in there.
That's right. Deion's in there tonight. Game of our triple header on BTN. Michigan State won at Rutgers earlier. Great matchup, Wisconsin, Iowa. Badgers winning that one tonight, and now wrapping things up with the Gophers and Cowboys at US Bank Stadium. Gophers open up Big Ten play Sunday. You'll see that here on BTN at Ohio State. As Kalsher comes out, McBrayer back in.
Isaiah Washington, a nice first half. Came in 1 of 11 on the year from behind the arc, 2 of 2 here in the first half.
You know you're going right when that kind of free throw falls. Murphy with 15 points and 9 rebounds, and last touch by DeZagua's knee, and the 8th Cowboy turnover gives it back to Minnesota.
And a nice job by Washington. Watch what he does. DeZagua just kind of turns around and doesn't face up. And that goes off DeZagua's foot. Nice job there.
They get a 2 for 1, and Washington is fouled. And that's the kind of play that Richard Pitino told us about today. He believes that he has the kind of game to create. It just transpired a moment ago.
And what Minnesota has done here in about the last 6 or 7 minutes of clock time is kind of turned the tables on Oklahoma State. Remember when the Cowboys jumped out to that early lead, they were taking turnovers by Minnesota, converting them into points. For the last 5 or 6 minutes, Minnesota has returned the favor. Washington, the most recent example.
11 points now for Washington, and the first game of the year against Omaha. Washington 11 assist performance as he splits 2 there. Now going back to the Vancouver games, Minnesota, I don't think they beat Washington without Isaiah Washington's second half.
Exactly, and it wasn't his scoring. He had some outstanding feeds, outstanding post feeds. That may sound like an unimportant thing, but it certainly wasn't, especially in a game like that.
Nice drive there from Kalu, freshman from Windsor. Shot clock is off. Gophers by 5.
And for Oklahoma State, when this shot goes up, you've got to put a body because of the offensive rebounding prowess of Murphy.
Stockman caps off a brilliant first half. Only 2 points, but he was passing, he was blocking shots, and the Gophers lead 45-38 at the break.
Mott Stockman impacting the game on both ends, doing a really good job against that zone of being a facilitator. He sends the Gophers into the locker room with momentum because of his ability to be a finisher in his own right.
Stockman doing it all this first half. Minnesota trailed early, but at the break they lead 45-38. Stay tuned. The State Farm halftime report coming up. Rick, Jess, Dion standing by from our studios in Chicago. Welcome back to U.S. Bank Stadium, downtown Minneapolis. Exciting first half, and at the break, Minnesota leading 45-38. The second half coming up here momentarily. Welcome back courtside, everybody, with Sean Morris. I'm Corey Probus, and at the top tonight, we focused on guys like Jordan Murphy, even Gabe Kalsher. What about Mott Stockman, Mr. Morris, the first half he had?
Stockman off the bench. Daniel Oturu, the starting center for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, saddled with 2 fouls, and Stockman came in and made his presence known on both ends of the floor court. 3 block shots, 3 assists, tripling his total for the year, a couple of rebounds. As a result, he is our Duluth Trading hardest working player for the performance he put forth in the first 20 minutes for Minnesota when they needed him. Oturu with that foul trouble, they called on Stockman, and he delivered most recently with that jump shot, which sent Minnesota into the locker room with all kinds of momentum.
Well, marquee matchup we focused on at the top tonight. McGriff also foul trouble early, but Jordan Murphy a huge first half.
And McGriff got off to a quick start, and to Minnesota's credit, they jumped on him. Only 2 of 7 from the floor for the leading scorer for the Cowboys, and Jordan Murphy 1 rebound away for his 6th double-double in 7 games so far for the Golden Gophers.
It also tied Jim Brewer for most double-doubles in program history at 51. Cowboys with the ball. Second half is underway. Andy Waters had a solid first half. And now the aforementioned McGriff against Murphy. Murphy stays home, and McGriff makes a tough shot.
That's a tough shot. And a nice job by McGriff of keeping that pivot foot planted and spinning away using that little jump hook. Excellent footwork by the junior.
McGriff coming off a 28-point, 10-rebound performance in a win against number 19 LSU on Sunday, that in Orlando. Down low, up and under, and Oturu missed around the rim, and a foul. So free throws upcoming for the freshman. Daniel Oturu, as we look at our first half game leaders here tonight. Murphy 15 points, rebounds, and Stockman 3 blocks.
One player not listed there who was also instrumental in the first 20 minutes for the Golden Gophers was the play of Isaiah Washington. Came in 1 of 11 from behind the arc in the first 20 minutes, went 2 of 2 from deep.
Likely 5 assists, 9 points for Lindy Waters. Oturu misses the first free throw. Jordan picked up the foul, his 3rd. And there is Washington. Some solid minutes there for the sophomore in the first half. Picking up McGriff. To shoot over him for 3. Man. Big start for the second half for the junior from Grand Prairie, Texas.
Take the big fella away from the rim, and McGriff, that's a very difficult shot.
Murphy is fouled.
And Murphy shows you why it's so important that you square up against the defender. What I mean by that is that because he squared up, that armbar had to come off. So he was able to create some space. Then when he put the ball on the floor and the armbar came back, that's an automatic call for the official.
That's his third foul. So McGriff with 3, Ane with 3 in the front court for the Cowboys. Can he draw the fourth? And he does on Ane.
Set play and a nice post entry from one freshman, Kalsher, to his fellow freshman, Turu. They reversed the ball. They switched sides of the floor, and look where that post pass was. It was away from the defense into the strong hand of a Turu. Good job of spinning away from pressure. Got him down low. Looked like it was pretty clean up top, but it looked like he might have gotten him with the hip.
So 2 more free throws here for Oturu. And Ane, with those 4 fouls will come out. So now the Cowboys go to a smaller lineup as Michael Weathers takes his spot. Ane sit. Weathers, sophomore, transfer from Miami, Ohio. Mack, freshman of the year.
Now with Ane on the bench with foul trouble, let's see the next time down the floor. The high-low play has been so effective for Minnesota. Let's see if they go back to it in the half court.
Waters off the fake.
And what was it? Off the dribble. The first 3 that he made were made off the standstill. Even though you forced the one dribble, it limited his effectiveness, and that rebound gives Jordan Murphy his 51st career double-double.
15 and 10 and a lot of basketball to be played. McBrayer from the corner for 3.
Much needed sign by McBrayer, who was 1 for his last 18 coming into this ball game. And McBrayer did a good job of using that little pro hop and getting his feet set while the pass was on its way.
Largest lead tonight for the Gophers. An 8-point margin. Waters blocked by Oturu. Coffey touch pass to a running Murphy, had it stripped by Dzagwa. Murphy got it back and scores. Officials timeout called on the floor, and as Murphy hit inside, maybe checking Waters to see if he's bleeding. As Murphy, you see 51 career double-doubles, ties the school record with Jim Brewer. So 17 points and 10 rebounds for Murphy.
Be a really critical stretch right now for Oklahoma State on the defensive end without the shot blocking presence of Ane.
Now tomorrow on BTN, 2 exciting conference openers come your way as Vic Law and Northwestern take on Romeo Langford in Indiana. Then later, Lamar Stevens leads Penn State against Bruno Fernando and Maryland. Big Ten basketball presented by Jeep. Tomorrow right here on BTN and the Fox Sports app.
Penn State coming off an outstanding home win versus Virginia Tech in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. And even though Maryland came out on the short end against Virginia in their home game in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, very few teams shoot north of 50% as well as score north of 70 points as that young Terrapin squad did against the Cavaliers.
Yeah, no doubt. Foul called on McBrayer. Weathers off the screen. Over Oturu, no, and McGriff held out of the rim as he hits the deck and falls down.
And he's allowed to do that, Corey. They may be discussing this, but he did that in order to protect himself. A lot of people may be saying, hey, that should be a technical foul. No. With McGriff up in the air, watch him come in here. He's just grabbing onto the rim to protect himself, because if he's up there, he's prone. If he lets go, chances are he gets hurt, so he can use that rim until the traffic clears underneath him.
He was tied. It's a good catch there, Sean. He was tied up with Jordan Murphy. Underneath. It's Minnesota ball. McBrayer, there's that same spot and the same result.
Really good execution. Not only the pass, but that baseline screen by Kalsher took out the ability of Oklahoma State to close out under control.
A 10-0 Minnesota run. Coffey denying Likely the ball. And the freshman has it in front of his own bench, and we have a whistle and a foul called away from the ball.
They go weak side to Murphy. Look, does a nice job of looking over the top. Now Kalsher's going to come down, set this screen. It takes out the defender here. That's going to allow the open three in the corner. Watch Kalsher come down here, number 22, signal it. Boom, take out the defender. McBrayer knocks down his second three here in the second half. And again, it's the ability by Murphy to look over the top, showing his unselfishness. He's the leading scorer and rebounder. Also came into this ball game for you, leading the Golden Gophers in assists.
McBrayer up to 10 points, and he's playing with very, very heavy heart. His mother is not in great health right now. Tyra. Hard to focus on basketball with what's going on in his family life, but he's putting up quite a show here tonight, certainly here in the second half, is DeFree McBrayer. Shot clock is at 1. The Cowboys have to work quickly. Likely to not get it off. Shot clock violation, Oklahoma State. Turnover number 9 on the Cowboys. There's Isaiah Washington, his first appearance here in the second half. This immersive freshman also will come on. And here comes Stockman. Tudor, Coffey, Murphy all come out.
Stockman, just an unbelievable first half by Stockman on both ends of the floor, giving them quality minutes, not just taking up time, but giving quality minutes with a two-run foul trouble in the first 20.
Washington throws it away, and now Likely. Bounce pass, tough angle. Waters fouled by Omerson.
Really good job by Oklahoma State of getting out in transition quarter. They get the ball in the middle of the floor. Griff gets it in the middle of the floor. They kick it ahead, and take a look at it here. They kick the Weathers, and watch this delivery on the bounce. Excellent job. Comes up and takes it right across the face, and if he wasn't bleeding before, it appears that Waters is now.
It's a towel to his mouth, so Waters.
And that was not a malicious play by Omerson at all. You know, he's just trying to make a play on the ball, and his follow-through on the block caught Waters. It's easy for me to say that because I didn't take it in the chops like Waters did, but there was no malicious intent there. He's making a play on the ball. Look, he's going for the block, and just on the way down, he catches Waters. If you're Oklahoma State, you want Waters at the line because he's 21 of 22 so far on this season from the charity stripe.
This is his first free throw all year. First half tonight. Cut taken care of, and Waters, that smooth stroke.
Excellent follow through, and watch the backspin, Corey. That's why he's able to get a lot of rolls, because he puts it up there gently, and with that backspin, it has the opportunity to carry him off. Didn't come into play there with the straight bottom of the well. That's what you see from almost every great shooter, is that backspin. We
asked Mike Boyden today, the backbone of his team, who would you say that is? And he pointed to the 3 juniors. As Coffey into a double team, and Waters certainly a part of that. As is Azagwa and McGriff. Gophers by 11. As we go around the Big Ten Conference, Gabe Kalsher, the reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week. 14 points, including the game winner. The Vancouver Showcase. Big Ten play beginning tonight. Michigan State beat Rutgers by 11. Big games from Cassius Winston, Nick Ward. Wisconsin, despite a big night, Tyler Cook winning on the road 72-66 at Carver Hawkeye. 7 Big Ten teams ranked in the top 25 early this season. What do you think?
And others receiving votes in the form of Nebraska and Minnesota. And I think the league, after having 4 teams reach the NCAA tournament a year ago, may be able to even double that this year. I expect this to be a 7, maybe even an 8-bid league. And we saw Kelcher there, and what he's done, what he did up in Vancouver. He went 7 of 12 versus Santa Clara. Nice job of selling it, And if you're Washington, you need to utilize the 2-foot jump stop and not allow yourself to float into a charge.
The first foul on Washington. Mercer comes out. McBrayer also out. So Murphy back in. And Coffey back in. Zagla, that quick trigger three. Doesn't go, and Waters the offensive rebound. Waters has Stockman out high. There's Griff posting up Murphy. It's a marquee matchup. Good defense. Shot too strong, and Stockman boxing out.
And a good job by Stockman again defensively of moving his feet on the perimeter, then coming down, not giving up on the play, blocking out, and allowing Minnesota to clean up.
Murphy 17 points, 10 rebounds. Kelcher up top for three.
Really nice job by Coffey of getting in the gut of the defense, forcing Oklahoma State to collapse to take away the dribble penetration, and then kicking it out to Kelcher there.
First three tonight for Kelcher. Waters answers for the Cowboys, and Oklahoma State calls a timeout with 14:40 to go.
And that's just a breakdown defensively by Minnesota, not finding Waters, allowing him to get his feet set. He's beaten them 4 times from behind the arc on the standstill. But on the other end, it's Kelcher who returns the favor from deep for the Gophers here in Minneapolis.
Fox Sports app. Ohio State ranked, Nebraska on the outside looking in, but 7 of the AP top 25 come from the Big Ten Conference.
And we talked about 7 being the operative word here. 7 teams in the AP top 25, a 7-7 split in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. One of those 7 wins for the Big Ten was a big win by the Nebraska Cornhuskers on the road at Clemson, really starting to submit here in the early part of their season, their resume for NCAA tournament consideration. This is a team that won 13 games in the conference a year ago, but was left out of the NCAA field largely because of the fact that they didn't have a whole lot of non-conference wins of high repute.
And also, too, and just kind of a scheduling quirk that worked against the Cornhuskers last year, the elite Big Ten teams from a year ago, instead of having home and homes, oftentimes only a one-time showing against those teams.
That's right, and that's another added benefit for adding those 2 conference games, is that it minimizes the opportunity for some of those scheduling quirks to appear.
Up and under, Weathers. Brayer off his feet. Weathers now with 4. Coffey with 6 points. Can he add to it? Yes.
Much more assertive here this evening for Coffey on the offensive end of the floor for Minnesota. That's paying dividends for the Gophers.
Griff, Murphy hits the deck, offensive foul. That's going to be the 4th foul, Sean, on McGriff.
Yeah, they tried to isolate McGriff, understanding that Murphy was going to have to guard him on the perimeter. Murphy does a pretty good job of moving his feet. And what drew the attention of the official, watch right here at the end, that inside shoulder kind of dipped by McGriff. Murphy certainly sold it as well, and that's a big foul to have go against you with the Oklahoma State Cowboys, because your leading scorer and rebounder now has his 4th foul. He'll be there, I'm going to guess, Corey, until at least the 8-minute mark.
So McGriff 4, but also Ane with 4 fouls as well. Here's Murphy, blocked, and a foul. This will be on DeMuth. His 2nd, so 2 more free throws upcoming for Jordan Murphy.
This is what Murphy wants to do, is attack off the dribble. And he takes it right at DeMuth. And tell you what, I thought DeMuth did a pretty good job. Let's see if he comes down and gets Murphy on the arm. He might have gotten a little bit of risk, but that's a fortuitous call for Murphy.
Murphy now 7 of 9 at the line. Mike Boyd trying to get some clarification from Terry Weimer about calls here late in this game. And now Weathers took a blow to his face.
I mean, where's Ferdy Pacheco when you need him?
The cut man here. Zagwa's been quiet. 6 points on 2 of 7 from 3. Here's Weathers challenged by Murphy. It's straight up, and we play on. 2 on 2. It's Coffey with Kalsher. Coffey lost it. It'll go back to the Cowboys.
He wanted to pick it up and kick it to Kalsher here in the near corner. He took his eye off, and that led to the miscue, but he was trying to set up Kalsher in transition, who had fanned out to the left wing.
Gophers averaging 14 turnovers per game, now at 13. Weathers spins, no, knocked around, and a whistle. And a foul. This time they will get Murphy with a personal foul. Or nope, it's going to be McGrayer for the push. This is second. So Duncan DeMuth from Seminole, Florida. Cowboys at the line tonight. Now 5 of 10. Gophers 15 of 19.
Ruth has struggled with this part of his ball game in the early part of his Cowboy career. Now 2 of 9 from the strike.
We focused on the 3 juniors for the Cowboys, but also so many transfers and freshmen. It's a roster that certainly was in transition entering the year. Only 4 returning players from a team that won 21 games last year. Murphy believes he has a mismatch on DeMuth, but too strong that time. And back come the Cowboys down by 13. Waters open look for 3. And Washington clears. Kalsher wide open for 3.
Boy, that's the play they were trying to get on this side of the floor when Coffey had to go off his hands.
Too strong. Weathers wanted a foul. And now Coffey against Waters. No, but a foul. So Amir Coffey will shoot 2 as the Gophers have their largest lead tonight at 66 to 50.
Amir Coffey has been not just a play facilitator, but also a play finisher. Here he facilitates for Kalsher. They wanted to get that on the opposite side of the floor here when there was a turnover in transition. Here, nice job by Coffey of coming under control, not allowing Oklahoma State to slide in and take the charge, utilizing that jump stop, then the kick over to Kalsher.
And after a nightmare of a night shooting the basketball against Boston College, where the Gophers went 5 of 30 from 3 tonight, as a team, 7 of 11. And when we brought that subject up with Richard Pitino, we said they went back and looked at the film as Anae's going to come back in with 4 fouls. The coaching staff believes they charted 26 missed open shots from that game in Chestnut Hill on Monday night. As Coffey connects and Michael Hurt returns. Washington will sit. He's going to get looked at on the bench there, holding his left arm as he came off the floor. Slid down low, blocked by Oturu, but a foul. The crowd believes that was all ball. Oturu did as well, but that's number 3 on the freshman.
Oturu slides over. Yeah, and probably a play on, but when you are blocking a shot, as Oturu was attempting to do, when you swing down like that violently, even though you may have not made contact, it's certainly going to draw the attention of the officials. Now, if Oturu comes in here and keeps his hand up, the move's going to put the ball right into his hand. Oturu will learn to make that play, maintain verticality, and not have the foul go against him.
Knocked out of bounds, and last touch by McGrayer. So Oklahoma State will get a fresh 30 after the 2 missed free throws from DeMuth. Maurice Kalou, 6'9" freshman, checks back in for the Cowboys, as does Mike Cunningham. A 3 from the corner, no good. Cowboys have pulled off here from the field in the second half. Coffee. And another shot to the face. Michael Weathers, he's been hit up high a few times, and that happened again. Kalsher, the reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week. He's had some great looks here in the second half, and like he's been doing all year long, the freshman is knocking him down tonight here in Minneapolis. Now Taj Gibson taking in this game tonight from the Minnesota Timberwolves, playing really well since the Jimmy Butler trade. Timberwolves take on the Boston Celtics tomorrow night. Final Four coming up here in a matter of months. Fourth time it's been in this great city. First time, of course, here at US Bank Stadium. 51, 92, 2001, and it will be a Big Ten team in 2019.
And Maryland, you see the asterisk there. At that time, Maryland was a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference, and they had a 20-point lead on Duke in that semifinal. Let that get away, but they were not deterred because in 2002 under Gary Williams, they then turned around and won the national championship, being another Big Ten team in Indiana.
Some great Maryland teams, Blake and Dixon.
Baxter.
Nice shot there from Cunningham through the baseline.
I'll tell you what, Oklahoma State plays hard and they are well coached.
And yet predicted to finish last in the Big 12. 10 teams and dead last. Griff with 4 fouls, and this is going to be a walk on Oturu.
What happened there is that so many other things in sports, low man wins. But Griff was in, he's got a lower center of gravity. He's down in a basketball position, and Oturu was playing straight up. As a result, his feet kind of got out from under him, hence the walk.
Oturu comes out. Murphy back in. Stockman, also part of that Gopher front court right now. Michael Hurt. Breyer and Kalsher round out the 5 for Minnesota. And a carry. Unlikely. 11th Oklahoma State turnover.
And again, Stockman rotating over to provide help to Kalsher. Strong show by the big fella leads to the miscue.
Frustration there. Mike Boynton, Brooklyn native. Backdoor Kalsher. And there's that Stockman feed again, and this one last touch by the Cowboys.
And not necessarily, I mean, it was a very difficult pass to get through. But look where this leads, Kalsher. I mean, he is in major trouble. And fortunately for Mont Stockman, since it happened in front of his bench, it ended up that Minnesota retains possession.
Shot clock is now under 10 for McBrayer. It's a good second half. Breyer with 5. Flashing, cutting, scoring is Hurt.
Keeping the dribble alive was McBrayer. Oklahoma State turns their head, and nice recognition by Hurt to make a strong dive to the strong side of the rim.
Now, something that Richard Pitino talks a lot about, and it's something that's posted in their practice facility, is 95%. And the belief is that the ball is only in your hands only 5% of the time. But the other 95%, what impact are you making? And that's a case in point right there with what you saw from Michael Hurt.
Everyone talks about moving without the basketball, and Michael Hurt shows you why it's so important. Is he's going to come from this side of the floor, the far side. The defender turns his head, little curl cut. Good job by McBrayer of keeping his head up and keeping the dribble alive until Hurt senses the situation and comes from the opposite side of the floor and is able to curl cut and finish with a stronger left hand.
Michael Hurt averaged 18 minutes per game last year. Foul was on Murphy, his 3rd. Believe that Eric Curry's return is getting closer and closer by the day. Will likely will miss the first couple of Big Ten games, but then mid to late December is the target date to get Curry back.
It'll take a while to knock that rust off. Remember, he missed all of last year with an injury, and he was coming into last season with a great deal of momentum. He played very, very well in the last month plus of his freshman year a couple seasons ago.
This extra pass, Cunningham for 3. Look there from Ballou on the second chance opportunity. Timeout will be called by the Gophers with 9:11 to play and a 15-point lead.
And as the Gophers come up here on the elevated floor from their bench, it has been their bench which has delivered dividends for them, most notably in the backcourt with Washington and the front court of Stockton.
Now tomorrow on BTN, championship game coverage kicks off at 3 Eastern with BTN Tailgate as Dave, Spice, Jerry, Howard, and Michelle come to you live from the Fan Fest in Indy to set the scene for Northwestern and Ohio State. Then when the game is over, get thorough analysis on the championship post-game show. It's all tomorrow right here on BTN. Football on the other side of the bleachers here. You see the court in one end zone. Come Final Four time, that will change. Flip directions of the court, and that'll be more centered towards the 50-yard line as they open up US Bank Stadium for the Final Four festivities.
Lazy pass. Very fortunate for Minnesota that wasn't picked off.
Gophers at 5-1. Travel day tomorrow. It's off to Columbus. Ohio State. Buckeyes coming off a loss to Syracuse earlier in the week. As Murphy throws that one towards Spencer Tollickson and Mike Grimm and the Gopher radio team down the way from us.
Ohio State, even though they lost that home game in the ACC Challenge to Syracuse, uncharacteristically went 11 of 24 from deep. This Ohio State squad has a couple of impressive road wins, true road wins to date at Cincinnati and at Creighton.
Part of just a strong non-conference schedule that we've seen from the Big Ten in the opening weeks of the season. His patience there from Waters. He's had a good game.
Yeah, he really is. I've been impressed with this young guy. I mean, he's shown you the ability to knock down standstill threes and then utilizes the hesitation dribble and the second unforced turnover in as many trips for Minnesota. But the last time, look at that hesitation. That gets the defender out of his stance, then you turn the corner and a difficult conversion. Hesitate, out of his stance, right there. Boom, by him and complete. Nice play off the dribble by Waters, who has done a lot of his damage off the standstill, but showing some versatility there.
16-5 now, and that'll count. And one, and here come the Cowboys. Some energy from the team in turquoise tonight. Michael Weathers at the line for a three-point chance.
Good job of spacing the floor. And Weathers, we talked about Kalsher dribbling with a purpose. Weathers does it here. That's a difficult conversion because his foot was almost close to hitting the ground, and he kind of had to reload and stretch out with that left hand. If that foot hits the floor before it's a release, it's a walk. But Weathers showing some athleticism and the ability to convert. At
the 10:33 mark, the Gophers had an 18-point lead, but now how quickly it's dwindled down to 10 on a 10-2 Cowboy run.
Minnesota, the last two times down the floor, a couple of unforced errors, both of them by Murphy.
17 turnovers, 2 for the Gophers tonight. Washington left with an injured arm earlier, back on the floor. Kalsher the miss. And now the push from Weathers.
Nice block out by McGriff.
Blocked by Murphy, and an offensive foul. And Boyden can't believe it. Jacket is now off. Second-year head coach has seen his team fight back in it a little bit here. But Minnesota will have it when we come back. Gophers and Cowboys from Minneapolis, 10-point game on BTN. Men's basketball on BTN is brought to you by State Farm. Here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Welcome back to downtown Minneapolis. Corey Provis, Sean Morris, Santi, Patrick O'Connor, our great BTN crew. Thank you for joining us. Game 3 of our triple header. Michigan State beat Rutgers, Wisconsin winning at Iowa, and now Minnesota. Just before opening up Big Ten play on Sunday, non-conference action tonight, leading Oklahoma State by 10.
Oklahoma State battling back. They were down 18 here in the early part of the second half, and just kind of scratched and clawed their way in. Now, turnovers have helped that cause. A couple of unforced errors, 2 of 17 miscues so far here by the Golden Gophers.
Washington's pull-up short. And Weathers had his pass read by Washington. McGriff the save and found Cunningham in the corner. Waters has had a solid game, but here's DeZagla to a cutting Waters. The tip no from McGriff. Waters got it back and fouled by Oturu.
Really nice set, even though it came up a little short in terms of a conversion by Oklahoma State. And Waters doing a good job of moving without the ball. A little bit of a shuffle cut. Once again, this guy's playing through some contact and did a nice job of moving without the ball. Shuffle cut, was able to lose the defender, wasn't able to convert, but stayed with the play. Let's shoot a couple.
So Waters at the line. Oturu now with 4 fouls as DeZagla comes out and likely back in.
Even though it's a 1-and-1, I'm confident he's going to shoot too, Corey.
Such a great shooter. And Mr. Morris once again proving why he is a 2-time academic All-American. It's been cut a few times tonight. That lip you see there, and grabbed the towel, but staying on the floor. And the Cowboys are back in this game with 7:05 to play.
And Oklahoma State trying to use their defense to create some open floor opportunities, which was so beneficial to them at the beginning of this ball game. There's the double. Nice job.
Stockman kept the ball high but missed around the rim.
But you got to convert that. Nice job of diving to the rim. Good find by Murphy. You have to go up stronger if you're Stockman.
Weathers a mismatch, driving around. Stockman tripped and fouled as Weathers is holding his right side. McBrayer the foul, his 3rd.
They isolate Stockman, who gets his feet tangled. And this is a game that mere 6 minutes of clock time ago, Minnesota had a commanding 18-point lead, but Oklahoma State, in spite of foul trouble, just keeps battling and scrapping and is right back in this ball game.
Cowboys 8 of 17 at the line as Weathers connects. See where the Gophers go for offense when they get the ball back. Murphy in the low post. Have you seen that double team?
I think you go right back to Murphy, and then he's shown himself to be not just a willing but a capable passer. Does a good job of locating from the location of the double team and throws it in that direction. Play through him here now, maybe try to stem the tide. McBrayer leaves his feet, and another turnover by Minnesota.
A 12-0 Oklahoma State run, and now the Gophers turn it over again. That is number 18 on Minnesota tonight.
Now the trap, and look what happens here. That sideline serves effectively as a 3rd defender. They hem in McBrayer. He leaves his feet with nowhere to go, and a turnover and another opportunity for Oklahoma State.
Turnovers combined tonight. 2-possession game. Zagla cuts, and he and Weathers not on the same page. There was an opening. Zagla's going to come out and likely back in. Pressure took time off the shot clock. There's the lob. Murphy the catch underneath. Resets and scores. 21 for Murphy.
Boy, does he get off the floor quickly. Utilize that crab dribble. Give him some momentum. Nice catch in traffic.
Ball fell off the fingertips there from Cunningham, but still banked it in.
And the way it looked his hands, it looked like Richie Cunningham shot it, but it found the bottom of the well.
Coffee with 10 points. All 5 on the floor right now for the Gophers have at least 10. Washington with 11. Murphy game high 21. Shot clock at 3. Washington driving and scoring with a shot clock about to expire. That's 2 more for Washington.
Nice job utilizing that hesitation dribble by Washington with the shot clock winding down. Got the defender out of his stance just enough to allow the sophomore to turn the corner and complete.
Entry pass to McGriff. Likely and 1.
Big.
Murphy picks up the foul. That's his 4th.
Big time conversion by Likely. Now watch the hesitation. You get the defender out of the stance. There's a breakdown in communication, and Washington converts, giving Minnesota some momentum. But the Cowboys return the favor. Good delivery by McGriff. And how about the ability of the freshman Likely to play through contact, keep his eye on the target, and complete?
So Likely at the line shooting 1. He's 1 of 2 at the line tonight. 70% free throw shooter. No, and the rebound to Murphy. That's his 14th rebound to go with 21 points.
And now Nene is back in the ballgame with those 4 fouls. Maybe try to go right back at him, fresh in off the bench.
Some foul trouble for Oklahoma State. Griff, Nene with 4. Washington up and under, now resets. Setting up Kalsher for 3.
And Isaiah Washington was doing an aerobics workout down there. He was so wide open. He's doing jumping jacks, calling for the ball. He got it, didn't force the shot, and that allowed the fan out in the corner by Kalsher. But Washington was doing everything in his power to draw attention to himself down there.
4 assists to go with 13 points for Washington. Tough answer inside.
And I tell you what, I am impressed with Oklahoma State. These guys just keep coming back and coming back. They've battled the adversity of foul issues here, especially in the second half, but have not gone away.
4 to play. That one pinned off the glass. And here come the Cowboys down 7.
They got a mismatch down there.
Spin over Washington, and air ball.
They missed an opportunity because Nene had the smaller Washington on his back. They just weren't able to take advantage.
Teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Both teams in the double bonus. Feet on Nene, a block.
Nene did a really good job of not allowing Murphy to get that shoulder into him. Created some space and able to utilize some length.
They find Nene. Did he walk beforehand? He did. And the Cowboys turn it over for the 14th time. A chance to get a couple of points closer, but a turnover. Meanwhile, Washington up and under. Was he going to shoot? No, a pass. Kalsher for 3 in the corner, and the Gophers lead by 7. Well, Rick, you know Sean as well as I do, and that first flight out, he will be on it because then he's going to be traveling because he's got basketball from Lincoln on Sunday. Busy man, Mr. Morris. Busy man.
Well, it beats working, and I'm not equipped for a real job. You know that as well as anybody, and this play starts with Isaiah Washington channeling his inner Richard Simmons, doing some aerobics down low, calling attention, doesn't force it against the shot blocker, and then finds the outstanding 3-point marksman, Gabe Kalsher, for his 4th assist of the ball game. Nice job by Washington here tonight. 4 assists, 13 points, 2 of 2 from behind the arc, an area in which he had struggled so far this season.
Some numbers there for Washington. Struggle for the sophomore, certainly at the offensive end. Nice showing here tonight. Here's Coffee, lost it, and Oklahoma State ball. Good 19th turnover.
Yeah, good active hands by the Cowboys. On the dribble drive by Coffee, he's going with his off or right hand, and the dig down by a couple of different Cowboys forces the turnover.
Waters off the screen.
Nice show by Coffee, taking away the 3-point opportunity by Waters.
Likely nearly tripped, traveled. Now the shot clock under 10. Beautiful crossover. How about this from Weathers?
Wonderful job. He saw that Murphy thought he was going to utilize the ball screen. He declines it, looks off the defender, and that creates a clear path to the rim.
Gophers go back to Murphy here. 2:05 to play. A lot of dribbling from Washington, and now lost it, and it's going to be last touch by the Cowboys. Now exactly 2 minutes on the clock here, Sean.
And a nice job by Weathers there of understanding that Minnesota was going to try to take away that utilization of the ball screen. Weathers saw that Murphy started to cheat that way. He looks him off and then is able to drive right down Main Street for the conversion.
And the officials meeting here about, I would think, possession. Now 2 minutes, not under 2 minutes here in the second half. So we play on. Shot clock at 5. Washington for 3. No, and McGriff the rebound. Likely draws attention. Weathers against Kalsher. No, but a foul.
And Oklahoma State is just attacking off the dribble. They're isolating matchups that they want to take advantage of, and then they're going right to the rim. Here they get Kalsher out. Again, that's the third time we've seen the utilization of the hesitation dribble pay dividends, because what happens, the natural inclination by the defender is to come up out of the stance, and a good recognition then, that's your best opportunity to turn the corner.
Trentino's team led by 18 earlier this half. And now free throw here from Weathers makes this a one-possession game. But just to kind of back up your point, Sean, you saw it on that drive from Weathers a moment ago. He could have easily tried to pull up for a 17, 18-foot shot, but did not settle for that. Instead attacked and had a chance to connect. 2 free throws, made the first, missed the second.
And right now, if you're Minnesota, you have to find a way to play through Jordan Murphy. He's being guarded by a freshman with 4 fouls, and Murphy is 8 of 10 from the line tonight. They're going to try to clear out that side of the floor with he and Washington.
There's Murphy against the name. Finds Washington underneath, blocked, and a foul. So we've seen Washington set up Murphy. Now it's Murphy finding a cutting Washington.
Yeah, they kind of invert things a little bit, and Murphy showing you again that he's become a much better passer looking over the top. And then watch what Washington does here. Utilization of the shot fake and the shoulder fake. You get the defender off his feet, then you lean in, take the contact, opportunity to shoot a couple.
Foul was on Weathers, his 4th, as DeZaglo returns. 3-point weapon. May comes out, 4 fouls. Give up. And Mike Boyden's team here tonight. Okay, coaches, 36 years old. Washington up to 15 points and a timeout called. With 1:14 to play. Gophers call the timeout. Minnesota will have 1 remaining. It looked like for a while that the Gophers were just kind of cruise to a double-digit easy win tonight, but not the case here.
Oklahoma State just continued to come at Minnesota defensively. Turnovers were a big reason at the beginning of the ball game that Oklahoma State was able to get out to a nice lead, but Jordan Murphy, as he has throughout this whole year, big reason that Minnesota was able to climb back. Both ends of the floor, has his first career double-double. Then just showing a little bit of versatility, knocking down a 3 in the first half when points were somewhat sparse for the Golden Gophers. And this is just an outstanding play. And great strength from the elbows to the fingertips to be able to corral that ball in traffic, go up and complete.
Also a big part of Murphy's night, and you think this is a 2-possession game. 8 of 10 at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Coffey picks up Waters quickly up top, and now Weathers loses his footing Kept the dribble going, though, and now here's McGriff. Murphy, 4 fouls, backs off a bit, but a miss around the basket, Minnesota ball.
Well, I like what McGriff did there. He didn't settle for a jump shot. He was able to put the ball on the floor, just came up a little bit wanting.
See Oklahoma State fouls, and they do, and that's going to be Coffey at the line shooting 2. Both teams the double bonus the rest of the way. Clock stops with 40.3 to go. Coffey 2 of 3 at the line. He's a 69% free throw shooter on the year. Foul is on Waters, his 3rd.
Turnovers have been an area of concern for Minnesota tonight. But the 2 areas that have been positive for them have been the charity stripe, where now they're 20 of 25 from the line. And then you throw in the fact this has been a very unselfish performance all the way around. 26 made field goals for the Golden Gophers, 18 coming via the assists.
See what's upcoming for the Gophers. Conference play Sunday and then Wednesday. Ohio State Wednesday. I'm sorry, Sunday and then Nebraska on Wednesday. And now the Cowboys call a timeout. 30.7 to go in a 5-point game. Weathers 16 points, 14 of the 16 here in the second half. Go back to the Gophers' schedule, and we mentioned Nebraska improving its schedule this season. The same for Minnesota, challenging schedule. There are many in the Big Ten that can say that, but certainly Minnesota near the top.
Yeah, Minnesota going out to Vancouver, that was an outstanding event for them because you were able to defeat an SEC team in Texas A&M. You beat a pretty good West Coast Conference team in Santa Clara. You cap it off by beating a team in Washington, which is going to finish probably in the top 3 of the Pac-12. You get those 3 wins on a neutral site. That will pay dividends for them as the season unfolds. You put your younger guys like Kalsher there, in some pressure situations prior to conference play.
Cowboys try to trap. They don't foul yet. And now it's McBrayer. And there will be the foul. Clock stops at 22.4. So a lot of seconds ticked off the clock there. So free throws upcoming. And that's going to do it for Yornay. That's number 5. Big show coming up. Rick, Jess, and Dion following this one tonight. Wrapping up an exciting night here on BTN. Stay tuned for the big show coming up as soon as we are done here from US Bank Stadium. And we'll see this Oklahoma State team on BTN in a couple of weeks. They'll be in Sioux Falls, the Pentagon, to take on Nebraska. And a name that I think will be familiar to Big Ten fans will be eligible to play for Oklahoma State that night. That's Curtis Jones.
Yeah, the transfer from Indiana. That'll be another difficult task for Nebraska as they, we talked about Minnesota's non-conference schedule. Nebraska certainly upgraded that as well, and these Oklahoma State Cowboys will be more than a challenge for Nebraska in that situation in Sioux Falls.
And with a whistle of 15.5 to play, and a foul called on the Gophers, it's going to be on McBrayer, and that's his 4th. Let's take a look. Brown thought it was clean. So Weathers at the line shooting 2. Good second half. Short on that attempt. Now 4 of 6 at the line.
Was the great American philosopher Rasheed Wallace once stated, "Ball don't lie."
Great American philosopher. Weathers splits the 2. Cunningham back in. DeMuth is also going to return as McGriff checks out. Oklahoma State will take on Tulsa on Wednesday.
That's another tough one. I mean, that's at Tulsa.
Murphy fouled by DeMuth. 13.9. Jordan Murphy, by the way, with 16 rebounds tonight. He's sitting on 999 career rebounds. Became the Golden Gopher all-time rebounding leader in Vancouver in that first game against Santa Clara. Griff is back in along with Weathers. Booth is out. On the outgoing tonight, Jordan Murphy established a dominant presence, and that continued. 24 points, 16 rebounds.
11 of 14 from the line.
Yeah. Final 10 seconds. And Coffey the rebound, and Oklahoma State will not foul, and the Gophers win 83-76. Another nice non-conference win for Richard Pitino and the Golden Gophers. Now 6-1 on the year. Jordan Murphy, another double-double. No surprise, 24 and 16. Washington, Kalsher, McBrayer, Coffey, all double figures. Mott Stockman had some big minutes as well here tonight.
Nice job by Minnesota of fending off a nice rally by Oklahoma State. Minnesota able to shake off a tough start at the beginning of this ball game, and then a nice run by Oklahoma State, able to grind out a hard-fought win.
That'll do it from U.S. Bank Stadium. Again, the final. Gophers win 83-76. For Sean Morris, I'm Corey Probus saying so long. Stay tuned. The Big Show. Rick, Jess, and Dion standing by. Thanks for joining us. Good night. From Minneapolis, Gophers win 83-76.